Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We make this content for anybody that owns a welding shop, so if that's you, hopefully this is very potent and helpful to you. So today we're going to cover how to set your selling prices and profit margins for whatever you sell in your welding shop. So most of you are going to know this stuff, but just quickly we'll cover the definitions of what we're going to be talking about in this video, specifically revenue and the two different types of profits that we'll cover in this video. So revenue. That is basically the top line of your business. That's how much money came in a specific period of time. If you add up everything that you sold, the dollar amount they were, add that all together for last year, that would be your annual revenue. The gross profit, that is your selling price minus the cost of materials and labor to create that product. So that's also known as the cost of goods sold. This includes, like I said, material and labor, but it doesn't include overhead such as rent or insurance or that sort of thing. Your net profit, this is the most important thing, most important metric in pretty much any business, is the amount of money the business made after all expenses were paid. So if you had $200,000 in top line revenue and $150,000 in expenses, your profit is $50,000. That also happens to be a 25% profit margin because $50,000 is 25% of $200,000 of your total revenue. If you're self-employed, generally speaking, your salary is part of the profit. Because you as the owner obviously are getting benefit from your salary and the profit that the business makes. Let's talk about the importance of profit and the unimportance of revenue. Most people brag about their top line or their revenue. This is kind of a false representation because just because your business made a lot of money on the top line doesn't mean you brought home anything in profit. That's the number that actually matters. Profit is what makes you, the owner, rich and gives you freedom, which is the ultimate purpose of business. Your business should be a vehicle that creates the lifestyle that you want to have. So if you have a business that brings in $3 million and a profit of $50,000, you don't really even own a business. You just own a high-stress hobby that's on the brink of bankruptcy. So keep that in mind. Don't get in the trap of chasing revenue at the expense of profit, because profit is really what matters to you as the owner. We base the health of our business off of profit, and we slice it in two different ways. The first thing is going to be just the nominal dollar amount of profit that we're generating, and this should grow over time. We set goals for how much we want to grow the profit per year on a dollar basis. The second way that we look at profit is the percentage of revenue. So currently we run between a 30 and a 40% net profit margin. So after everything is paid, we're on a 30 to 40% margin. This number should stay as high as possible. If over time your profit percentage is going down, it means that your business is getting less efficient, more wasteful, costs are getting out of control, that sort of thing. You don't just want to look at the dollar amount of profit, you also want to look at the percentage, make sure that's staying at an appropriate number. For us, we are at a 25% bottom threshold of what we're willing to accept for profit margin. So if we run less than a 25% margin for any extended period amount of time, we either raise our prices or reduce our expenses so that our business gets back to that more efficient, 30 to 40% range. I would recommend that you guys have a minimum profit margin that you want to take. 25% is a great number to stay at. That's kind of going to keep your business healthy. Let's get into how we set our selling prices and profit margin and why that has worked well for us. When we set prices, we start with the end in mind, meaning that we want the business to have a minimum profit margin of 25%. Ideally higher than that, 30 to 40 is kind of what we're running currently. For that to happen, our gross profit margin, meaning the profit we make on the product level, each product that we sell, has to be higher than that. Generally, in our experience, it's about 10% higher for the gross profit margin than what our net profit margin goal is. Because overhead costs such as rent, insurance, that kind of stuff is going to eat in some of that margin before you get down to your actual net profit margin bottom line at the end of the year. So here's a quick example. We sell flatbeds. That's pretty much what our business is. We make a 45% gross profit margin on those flatbeds. So that accounts for the cost of materials, the steel to build it, the labor to do it, the powder coat cost, the decking cost, install costs, all of that kind of stuff. However, we still have to subtract our fixed costs out of that, such as rent and insurance. So once we pay for those things, at the end of the month, we come in at about a 35% net profit margin. Moral of the story is, if you want your business to have a certain profit percentage, such as 25%, you can't set your products at 25%. They have to be higher than that because inevitably overhead is going to eat some of your margin. So a good spread in our experience is 10%. If you want to make 25, then your product's got to be at 35% minimum. Because again, overhead's going to eat some of that up. So here's a guideline I'll give you. If you want to make a 35 or 40% margin, which is a good place to start with the products that you sell, and if you can't sell your products at that price, meaning if people aren't willing to pay the price for you to make a 40% margin, you should quit offering it because you didn't start the business to be broke. So don't sell products that make you no money. Obviously, the last piece of this that's important is that for this to work, you have to actually have accurate numbers. What are your actual costs for what you're selling in terms of the products and services that you're doing? If you have no idea how to do this, if you have no idea how to properly cost, whether it be handrail, custom work, in our case, flatbeds, whatever else you guys may be building, you might check out our Business School for Welders program. It has a very simple to use system for costing anything that you sell. Doesn't matter if it's custom or a standardized product, you're gonna know your numbers down to the penny, and that's very important if you want these guidelines I've been talking about to work, because if you don't have accurate numbers, none of this really matters, so that's kind of step one. That covers today's topic. Let's go over some quick takeaways, just kind of things to remember. So number one, revenue is not important, but profit is extremely important. That's what makes you as the owner rich and have freedom is profit. Revenue is simply just a vanity metric. It's just something that people brag about, but generally speaking, the bottom line is definitely what matters. Don't get into the trap of chasing revenue and ignoring profit, because you're gonna be stressed with no money. If you focus on your profit first, the revenue is gonna take care of itself, and realistically, the revenue doesn't matter that much. Profit is what does. Number two, when you set your selling prices, start with the end in mind and the amount of profit your business wants to make net at the end of the year. So if you want a net 25% profit margin, then your gross margin at the product level has to be higher than that, usually around 10% higher in our experience. So, and again, if you can't sell your products or services to make that margin, quit doing it, do something else that you can. You didn't start your business to be broke. None of this works. Number three is gonna be none of this works unless you have accurate knowledge of your numbers and the actual costs of your products and services. Make sure you have a reliable way to cost everything that you sell properly. And if you don't, that's totally foreign to you. Check out Business School for Welders. It's an extremely potent tool that a lot of people have gone through that's gonna actually give you that baseline to actually have accurate numbers. Well, thanks for watching. Have a great week. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the videos. Hopefully this stuff is helpful to you. If it is, and also if you're somebody who's looking for an additional business opportunity in your existing welding shop, feel free to hit the link to apply for the Flatbed Dealer Program. This is something that's really good for people that own a welding shop, run a welding shop. You're good at your trade in terms of actually turning out high quality product. But if you need some help in terms of marketing, lead generation, you want a constant funnel of customers coming to you, that's what we can help you with. We've got a systemized product of flatbeds that are profitable to build, they're fun to build, they're fast to build, and also a way to generate you leads on an ongoing basis, keep your pipeline full in terms of customers, that sort of thing. If that interests you, feel free to hit the link below and apply for the dealer program, because if you're somebody who's ambitious, gets after it, you own a welding shop, you're in a good flatbed market, we would love to work with you. It's a no obligation, it's free to apply. If you don't think it's a good fit after you get through the demo, that's totally fine. But it's definitely worth checking out, because we do have tons of dealers that are making tons of money and doing very successful things with the program in their welding shops. Obviously, we do it ourselves as well. And that's the main thing that we do, is we build and install flatbeds. So it's a proven model that we've done for years. We got dealers that have done it for years. So feel free to hit the link and apply if that interests you. Thanks again.